Welcome back to the Mr. Analyst channel. Of course, as you do, this is Leighton Levy. Keep on commenting on that LA28 video that we put up last night. Really interesting comments coming in and really enjoying them and learning a lot from them as well. My next guest on this channel is the amazing, long-lasting Natoya Goule, who just last weekend was inducted into the Clemson University Track and Field Hall of Fame. Not very often that any athlete gets to get those kind of accolades, and she joins us to talk a bit about her career at Clemson and, of course, the recognition that she's received. Why hasn't LSU given her an honor yet? And perhaps a little bit about her international career and what are we to look forward to come 2026. That's why thanks for joining us and congratulations on the induction into the Clemson University Hall of Fame. It must be a special honor to be recognized in that way.
Thank you so much, Leighton. It's always an honor to be on interview with you, and it's an honor to be, inducted into the Clemson Hall of Fame. And I am making no comments about that LSU one. I don't want to get in trouble.
I know, but put it on record though. You won outdoor titles and indoor titles for LSU, and you won an indoor title for Clemson. I mean, first you had other accomplishments for Clemson. I think you were ACC Athlete of the Year as well. I was 2015. So I don't think this is just me saying to LSU each time that she gets there. So I'm taking that pressure off of you.
Yes, thank you.
But that's why looking back at your Clemson career, you followed Coach Elliott from LSU to Clemson. Let's start there. What was it that made you think that Mark Elliott was worth the effort to leave LSU to go to Clemson, given the success that you had at LSU?
Coach Elliott was the person that, recruited me. First when I went to South Plains, he's the one that actually sent me there. And of course, I was committed to LSU from then, but it was not just because of that. While after I was finished with junior college, and I went on to doing, summer school at LSU, Coach Elliott, I would basically had 1 month or even less than 1 month for trials. That was 2012 because I'd gotten injured earlier in the year while I was at South Plains. So I didn't get the chance to run the time that, I know I could have and even made the Olympic team that year. And within that, couple weeks leading up to trials, he basically took me from running 209 to 204. And then, I did cross country for LSU. And then that following year, which is less than a year, I run 159. Or maybe it was a year, with him, because that would have been June. Yeah. So 1 year later, I was able to dip under 2 minutes for the first time ever. So it was not like a second guess to say, okay, he said he's going to leave LSU because he was going to get a head coach job at Clemson. And, it was not a second guess to say, okay, I'm going to go with him because he already was coaching me, and I'm not really good with big change. I am committed whenever I put my mind to something. I'm committed to that. And he definitely is a great coach. I'm not going to say good. He is a great coach because of just all that I've accomplished. Like, before I even know that, I saw it in him.
And of course, for Clemson, you had set an indoor record, I think, at 201.64 that year that you won NCAA title. Indoor title for Clemson, sorry. But give me a sense, you talk about Mark Elliott and, the respect that you have for him, the fact that he's a great coach. Define for me that relationship that you have with him, because I remember he recruited you out of South Plains as well. And the thing, every time I talk to you, I think about this thing. I used to watch Mark Elliott run at Champs way back in the day when I was running at Champs. So you know how long I've known him. Not personally, but I met him since he went abroad, but he used to run for St. Diego and was phenomenal. He used to compete against what's Scott's first name again? He used to run for Manchester High School, but then went to Kingston College. So you have that in common in terms of the Manchester High School with what they used to call him Lion or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, but talk to me about the relationship with Ole, because not only did you stick with him and go at Clemson, you've maintained with him throughout your professional career. Give me a sense of what that dynamic is with Coach Elliott, because having spoken to him over the years about you, he has a tremendous amount of respect and he values you so much in terms of what he believes your potential is. Talk to me about that relationship.
Me and Coach Elliott, our relationship is very unique, because he's like, I always say, like, I am more outgoing and he's calm.
Mm.
So if we butt head, it have to be real bad for us to even butt head. And I can count a few times I'm like super mad at him. And he's still like chill and just don't take me on. He's like a dad to me as well, and I respect him a lot because I could just have 200s to run at the track and he's going to make sure he's there. That's just how he is. Like, he's committed. Once he put his mind to something, he's committed to, he's going to be there for you no matter what. Like, even, like, I always even be like, Coach, come on, like, such and such. I can't even go into too much details about certain things that he does and, like, help out others and stuff like that. That's just him. Even when they don't, like, when he recruits someone, like, they don't come to him and, but he is one of the coaches that he have a great heart, and he doesn't like to see his athletes, falter. Like, he wants to see that they achieve what he know that they can achieve. And he always believed in me, even when I don't see it, because I never knew I would have been a 155 athlete ever. I always saw those times and I'm like, oh, those girls are fast. I never, ever would have thought that I would have run 155. And he knew I could have run even 157 or even better from I was in college, But, certain things in practice I needed to do better. That's why I wasn't able to like run 157 from in college. So I'm just grateful that he's a part of my life and he doesn't hold grudges either. That's one thing with him. He doesn't. So his personality, people will think that, oh, he's a standoffish man, but he's not. He's definitely, when you get to know him, he will talk off your ear. But he's silent, like he's like laid back. But once he's ready to talk, he will talk, once he's comfortable with you. So if you just see him standing and not saying anything, it's just because, like, that's just how he is. But once you talk to him, he will talk to you and he give his point of view and everything like that.
If you had to pick top three memories from your time at Clemson, I mean, I'm sure that the NCAA indoor title in 2015 would be one of them, but what would be the others that you remember from your time at Clemson?
Well, as you mentioned, NCAA winning the title. Let me see. Oh my, there's so many memories. There's too many good memories. Also, this is a memory that, oh my gosh, conference outdoors when I ran the 400 meters and probably like 30 or 35 minutes later, I go and won the 800 meters. That took guts. I think coach was more worried about that than I did. Like, he was nervous because I didn't have a lot of times and a lot of time in between, to rest enough to go back and, I go run the 800 and oh my gosh, if it was the other way around, you'd have probably been not so nervous. Also, just being around, everyone, my teammates and everything, they always cheering us on while we run and everything like that. It's wonderful vibe here, So I have lots of memories, as I said, but those are some of them that I enjoy a lot.
I remember when they announced earlier this year that you're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. When they announced, you were in an auditorium, it looked like, and the cheers were so loud when you were announced. I mean, I know you're a lovable human being. I mean, you and I have talked for many, many years. We know how cool you are as an individual. Um, Talk to me a little about what that relationship is with the Clemson sporting fraternity. That family, obviously, that is so ingrained. Of course, Lennox Graham is now there, Coach Elliot. There's a lot of Jamaican athletes there as well who have come in to that program. Give me a sense of what it's like being that kind of athlete who is celebrated within the track and field community at Clemson.
Okay, so let me give you a little joke. So, like, I think a couple weeks before that, because, the committee, they informed Coach Elliott about it. So Coach Elliott had no idea before, that I was going to be chosen, So they told Coach. So I think I was at practice, so I was on the phone with him, and he was like, "Oh, I want you to make sure you're at meeting this particular day, because sometimes when they have their meeting, I am, at therapy or something." So it was like, "Make sure that you're here this particular day." So he constantly keep reminding me about it, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what did I do? Did I do something?" Like, I'm nervous. I'm like, oh, because sometimes I wasn't there for the meeting, so I thought he was gonna like call me out in front of everyone, being a volunteer and all. And then when I went, because it was in the indoor track, it was not like auditorium. It was actually in an indoor track. But normally for outdoor season, when you have meetings, you will have it outside underneath, there's a shed. But it was in the indoor track this time. And I was not thinking anything of it because I haven't been to the meetings, in a while.
No.
And, and then I saw like the head of academics, and then I saw it was head of IPTE, but I didn't realize at the time that's the Alumni Association. And I was like, oh, they're probably gonna have some important people, speaking and everything like that. So I didn't take. But when I reached there, he told me to go and sit in the stands with the athletes. So guess who nervous more? I did. Like, what happened? And I'm seeing, the managers, the grad assistants, everybody standing where we would normally stand. But I was called to sit in the stand. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed now. Coach is about to call me out or something. So then he started talking, and some of the things he was saying, I'm like, oh, that sounds like he's talking about me. My friend was sitting beside me too, because it was two of us that was in the stand sitting. And I'm like, looking at her, and I'm like, and Coach Graham, which Coach Graham always have his phone like a certain way, he's standing there, and all that time he was recording me. So that video that went up, that was Coach Graham's video. All the time he was videoing me, and I did not know because he let the coaches know, but they had to keep it a secret. And when he announced me, that's when I started bawling, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never expect to cry, but that was such an honor. Like, it's literally 10 years, I've graduated from Clemson. And when they announced that in March, it was not 10 years because I graduated in May. So to know that someone from, the Alumni Association and the IPTE, they thought about me. What I did was special to them. So they think that I qualified, to be in the Hall of Fame. And even to have the community around me, like the student athletes and the coaches, oh my gosh, they were so happy for me. And I'm grateful that I have persons around me like that they celebrate me so much. Every time they see me, my name is, nobody don't call me really Natoya here. It's Goule. Goule. When coach called me Natoya, I'm like, coach, don't do that. It sounds weird. Don't call me Natoya, because you don't call me Natoya. So whenever it's formal in front of persons, he will say Natoya. But I'm like, coach, please don't do it. Just say Goule. That's what you're used to, or Goule, So.
Yeah. But going to the ceremony itself last week, was November 7th it was? What was that experience like? Getting your plaque, getting the recognition, being on stage with the other inductees. Describe that experience.
Oh my gosh. It was a great feeling because you feel so important. When I came in, it was the Clemson business school, and Clemson School of Business.
Business.
Yeah. And I went in there because they gave us a little basket with goodies in there and all. I think it was probably the next day, you know, and it was like, oh, you is the work we've been waiting for because we after checked in and then they gave me my basket and then I went down. And then it was my turn because they call you up on stage to interview you basically. And then they will hand you over your jacket when you finish. And earlier they had asked me to give two persons that had a great impact on my life when I was at Clemson. So of course, Coach Elliott was one of them and my advisor as well, because she worked so well with me from day one, from ever since I went there. She worked well with me. And if I have any problems, I would go to her. It was no problem. She loved me. I didn't give no problem. And when I was watching the videos, when they spoke, about me and, give their little two pieces about me and the experience with me while I was there, it felt so good. And to see my coach, they didn't show the part. Coach afterwards, coach told me it was a whole thing, like he was bawling and everything. But I knew he was crying because I saw, like, you can see the long tears. His face looked like he had just went for a 5-kilometer run because of how much he was crying. And I was like, that's the third time I've really seen him. I the third or fourth time I really saw him cry. Because he doesn't show emotion like that, But that time was like he was bawling. I could see the tears, and I was like, that brought a little tear to my eye as well, And it was such a great feeling knowing that my family was there as well, because my mom and my stepfather and my cousin and my husband and my friend who I met here at Clemson as well. And another friend that I now call my sister. Today's her birthday, actually. She and her husband, all of us, we were on team together at Clemson. And now they have 2 children. So they were there celebrating with me. And of course, Coach Elliot and my physio and my Carol, like their wives, they were there with me. My friend came from Atlanta, even though she was a little late because she had to do something important before, but she still came to celebrate with me. So it was a wonderful night, just seeing the other, inductees. Like, it was great. I get to meet them. I felt so young. I felt so young, like, you don't have no idea. There were persons in the class of 2025 that left Clemson in the 70s. Listen, I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was old, but I'm not old. I am embracing my low 30s right now. I'm gonna show the world that Natoya Goule is still good and she's going out there to run, because guess what? I'm super young compared to all the knowledge and all these persons that I saw last week. It was great. I love it.
As you mentioned that the age thing. I mean, you're in life you're young. You're what, 34 now. Looking like 25 still. Yeah, but talk to me, Natalia. You've been doing this now from the junior years right through. I mean, I remember you ran and beat that character for what seemed like an eternity. You won titles at regional level. You made an Olympic final back in 2021. How much longer do you see yourself doing this?
I'm aiming to go to LA because I feel like it would be a special time knowing that it's in America and I live in America, So I think that I want to aim towards that, going to LA 2028, and we'll see what happened after that, because Shelly and show us that, hey, age is not a number. It's just a number.
It's a number, yeah.
It's just a number. So, like, she ran under 11 seconds at the age of 38. Like, and my friend from Benin, she won her medal indoors at the age of, I think, 39, like, or 38, one of those. I don't remember. But I'm like, last year. So we never know. Because I'm here saying, oh, I'm 34 and, I have probably 3 more years, but who to tell? It might be beyond that. We never know.
All right, so you're looking at the 800. I remember talking to Hubert just a couple of years ago, just before he died, where he said that he thought that you'd probably should probably think about going up to the 15. What's your thought? I know you ran 15 at Grand Slam track or in April. Didn't look all that great, but then again, this is not something that you're trained for. Are you thinking of shifting events, or are you sticking with the 800 as it is?
I definitely would want to run the 1500, like run both events actually, because what people don't know and what people don't realize that I was a better 1500-meter runner in high school before I ran 203. Like to me, running 427 at the age of, I think, 16, when I was sick, because that was at Carifta Games. I was coming down with the flu, and somebody recently mentioned it to me, Dr. Jones. He was at Worlds. He was saying it like, you were sick and you still went and won the 1500 in St. Lucia. And that's a great, achievement, because we literally reached that same day. I ran that 1500 and break the record in St. Lucia. So a lot of persons don't know that. They see me now as Natoya Goule, the 800-meter runner, but they don't have no idea that I can actually do 1500 if I get the chance to train for it. And Grand Slam, I was literally not 100% myself at Grand Slam, because I was recently coming from an injury, and then something happened even that Monday before flying, or the Tuesday before flying to come to Grand Slam the Wednesday to run. So to be able to run up to 9 and then go back and even, I gave up. I could have run faster. I was way in the back, and I was like, you know what? I ain't got nothing to lose right now, because, the time looks bad, but I'm way better than that. I can't tell last I ran 420, or whatever time I ran, but I know that's not me. But I've been sick like throughout this whole year, from January all the way till after World Champs. I've been either sick or injured this whole year. So to even be able to like compete this year was a blessing, because of just everything that I went through this year with injuries and not being able to breathe properly, back to back to back. And that leading to my first injury for the year, so.
Yeah. No, since 2026 is going to be, except for the Ultimate Championship, it's not going to be a major championship year. This is the first one in about 5 years. You think, what are you thinking? Experimenting with the 15 next year, or just working on getting health? Because you did have the IT band injury that you told me about earlier this year. That is still
the nerve issue, which
yeah.
still is numb. Yeah, up till today, it's still numb. Yeah, but it might not be a major championship for every country in the world, but it's gonna be a championship, well, it's a games for us, which is Commonwealth Games. And when it comes on to my events, all the great athletes are in the Commonwealth.
Yep.
So I don't have it easy. In the 800, in the 1500, all the great athletes are there, because you have Kenya, you got UK athletes, like.
Yeah, man, you have Chile, you have all kind of people from the Great Britain, and of course, the Africans as well.
So even though it's not World Championships, it's not Olympic, Commonwealth Games is just as important. So I have to ensure that I am ready for that. And yes, that would be, I would want to experiment the 1500-meter next year, but I also want to make sure that I am able to run my pet event as well. Sorry about that. I don't know if I tripped out a while ago.
No, man,
I was trying to call you. Yes. Yes. So I would definitely want to experiment my the 1500 next year if I get the chance to.
All right, cool. All right, so I have a couple of questions left for you. The first and most important one: how's your family? I mean, I know you have family in Manchester and in St. Elizabeth and other parishes which were just significantly impacted by the hurricane. Have you have any word on whether or not they're safe or whatever it is?
Yeah, so I've spoken to my family. My family, like, they're spread out all over in Jamaica. So I have family that is in St. Elizabeth on my dad's side. I don't know them that well. That's on the Cowan side. I'm not really familiar with them, but my cousin, she told me what's going on with them down there. They lost their homes and their roofs, and some of them. And also my aunt in Trelawney, she lost her roof as well. But you know, the ones in Manchester and Clarendon, they're okay at the moment. I have a brother, which a lot of persons don't know that I have. I actually have two brothers, but one of them is like we're super close. But I have another brother that I haven't seen since I was a little girl, like little small girl. And all I know is that he lives in Westmoreland. But I don't know, I don't have any contact for him because I had a contact for him at one point, and now it doesn't work anymore. So like his son don't know nothing about him. So I don't know if he's alive or dead right now because he's in Westmoreland. So, but I hope I can get a chance to find a way to find him because I know nothing where he lives in Westmoreland, nothing about his whereabouts. But, and the thing is, it doesn't have the same last name as me, even though we have the same dad, because a lot of people don't know, but Goule is a made-up name. Like it's not, it's Golding. That's the last name I'm supposed to have, Golding. But I'm hoping that I will be able to hear something about him or hear from him or something like that.
And of course, my final question is, when you sit down with Coach Elliott before you start this year's program this year, what are the things are you thinking of a change in terms of your program, or is it business as usual?
I think you know, we haven't gotten a chance to speak deep into what we're gonna do, but I already told him some things that you know I would want to do as well, and he's up for it, and I'm just looking forward to see where it takes us.
All right, cool. Of course, remember people to continue to subscribe to the channel, like and share our content. Of course, say thanks, of course, to Natoya Goule Toppin. I need to remember that she's a married woman. So, of course, Natoya, thank you so much for joining us. And, of course, wishing you health and strength and success for 2026. And looking forward to seeing you when you come home, whenever that is. And, of course, looking forward to seeing you always.
Yes, thank you, and you as well.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.